Good day, my name is Juliet Marmara from BSED Math 1B, and for today I'm going to discuss the importance of my assigned topic, which is the concept and rule of the proof. So the concept of proof. The tradition of mathematics is a long and glorious one. Along with philosophy, it is the oldest venue of human intellectual inquiry. It is in the nature of the human condition to want to understand the world around us, and mathematics is a natural vehicle for doing so. Mathematics is also a subject that is beautiful and worthwhile in its own right. A scholarly pursuit that had intrinsic merit and aesthetic appeal. Mathematics is certainly worth studying for its own sake. In its earliest days, mathematics was often bound with practical questions. The Egyptians, as well as the Greeks, were concerned with surveying land. So I have here the picture. Ano siya? Figure 1. Ginatawag ni siya mathematical construction from surveying. As you can see, naa siya yung mga shapes. The circle, the triangle, the square, and the rectangle. The rectangle and the triangles came up in the natural way in this context. So early geometry concentrated on these contracts. Circle were natural to consider for the designs of arenas and water tanks and other practical projects. Mo na siya ang mathematical construction from surveying. Second, na ako'y second picture diri, ginatawag ni siya logical derivation. So, what is a proof? Heuristically, a proof is a rhetorical device for convincing someone else that a mathematical statement is true or valid. So, ang kana day silang letter, ang purpose ng letter na dira, ang A, mao ni siya ang to relate it to something old. While ang B naman, mao ni siya ang to suggest that a natural way to prove that something is new. Mao na siya, logical derivation. The third picture, kani siya, a chain of reasoning. So, din man din siya nagsugod or where does the chain begin? And this is a fundamental issue. It will not do to say that the chain has no beginning. It extends infinitely far back into the fogs of time. Because if that were the case, it would undercut our thinking of what proof should be. Muna siya ang chain of reasoning. More on reasoning na siya. So next is the purpose of proof. The experimental sciences, physics, biology, and chemistry tend to use laboratory experiments or tests to check and verify assertions. So, the benchmark in this subject is to reproducible experiment with control. Those scientists who are interested can, on reading the articles, then turn around and replicate the experiments in their own labs. The theorems that Euclid and Pythagoras proved 2,500 years ago are still valid today. And we use them with confidence because we know that they are just as true today as they were in these great masters first discovered them. Other sciences are quite different. The medical or computer science, literature, or even 3 years ago is considered to be virtually useless, because what people thought was correct a few years ago has already changed and migrated and transmogrified. So that was the importance of my topic. So this is the continuation. my second topic, which is the infallibility and certainty in mathematics. So, there are three arguments. The first one is the empirical argument, the analytic argument, and the synthetic a priori argument. So, sa empirical argument, the British philosopher John Stuart Mill claimed that our certainty in mathematics arises from a vast number of empirical observations. In the other words, we can feel certain that 2 plus 2 is equals to 4 because every other time a human has carried out this calculation and it appears to be true. Although maths itself is deductive in nature, notice that this is an inductive conclusion. However, math is also based on proving theorems without prior experience. Next is the analytic argument. If you conclude that math is not empirical, you might think of it as being analytic. This view is often attributed to the Scottish philosopher Sir David Hume. This suggests that math is a truth that simply exists out there. Any mathematical operation is therefore simply unpacking the truth. However, there is an ongoing unresolved debate between philosophers over whether math is discovered or invented. So, napagudi ay ka na nagdipati about na nga ang math ba is discovered or na-invent. Did even numbers exist before someone came up with the definition of an even number? And the analytic states that a conjecture must be true or false by definition. However, it seems that nature will never allow us to determine the truth or falseness of every conjecture. So, the third one is the synthetic a priori argument. If we decide that math is neither empirical or analytic, we might conclude that it is therefore synthetic a priori. It means that a knowledge that is found to be true through observation yet exists independently or experience. So this view attributed to the German philosopher C. Immanuel Kant, but is not really different to the viewpoint of Euclid. Of course, you might also decide that all of this is a semantic argument that can never really be resolved. So far that is my that is the importance of my topics, and thank you for listening.
Mathematics and technology, the rule of computer. Mathematics, the science of structure, order, and relation that has evolved from elemental practices of counting, measuring, and describing the shapes of objects. It deals with logical reasoning and quantitative calculation, and its development has involved an increasing degree of idealization and abstraction of its subject matter. In ancient times to the present, as a consequence of exponential growth of science, most mathematics has developed since the 15th century CE, and it is a historical fact that from the 15th century to the late 20th century, new developments in mathematics were largely concentrated in Europe and North America. Plato was a Greek philosopher. He founded the Platonist school of thought and the academy. Euclid was an ancient Greek mathematician.